Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Kobold Chats. My name is Kendrick or Kendo, whichever you prefer. Excuse me. I had a little bit of a cough in my throat. I hope you're all having a wonderful Friday. It's the end of our week, the middle of our day. Be it if you're watching from home, watching from work, maybe you're on lunch break, maybe you're just hanging out. Whatever it is you're doing, I'm so glad that you're here doing it with me so we can talk about my favorite thing in the whole gosh dang darn world, and that's Kobold Press. How's everybody doing today? Hope you all have some tea at the ready, because today we're talking RiverBank, baby. If you haven't been following, which at this point, what have you been doing if you haven't been following what's going on? Because the RiverBank BACKERKIT is live already, you know? It's, we launched earlier this week, the Monday after Kobold Con. The kobolds were in their warrens bright and early, ready to launch our backer kit, and well, thanks to a lot of you and like so many more people, over 900 people to be more specific. I guess that's like not as specific as specifically saying the number. It's 962. It's 962 people. Gosh, you know what? We'll get to that. We'll get to that. All things in good time. I prefer Kendo because it implies that you're skilled in the way of the sword. Thank you. I also like to make people think I'm skilled in the way of the sword. After running everything last week, you thought I was gonna take a week off? You thought I was gonna take a week off? You thought Kobold Con would slow me down? It did for like a day or two. I was pretty tired, but no, I'm back because there's so much to talk about, and honestly, this is fun. I like doing it. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, you know what? Let's head on over to Jiro and see what we're talking about this week. All right, so Kobold Con. If you missed it, it was last week, and it was so much fun. For all 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we sat here on Twitch, YouTube, and over on the Discord, hanging out, talking about all things Kobold Press, playing some Tales of the Valiant, and raising money for charity. If you missed any of our amazing panels, like we had a panel where I talked with Kij Johnson, writer and designer of RiverBank, and we sipped some tea and talked about, hey, what's going to be in this game that everybody's so excited about. I talked with oh gosh, I believe his name was Ryan. Oh no, I'm trying to remember. The project lead for the Tales of the Valiant starter set. We talked with people who Mikey Shea, Mike Wellham, Megan Markle, who worked on Monster Vault 2. We had the Kobold Showcase where we talked about all the future stuff coming out, like the Tales of the Valiant Player's Guide 2, which is coming up in spring of 2025 as our next Kickstarter, and then also the Northlands and the Northland Saga book, the World book and the Adventure book for the Midgard Northlands for Tales of the Valiant, which is coming up in fall of 2025. We got so much stuff. And then we also had the Necromancer. We had so much stuff. We had so much stuff. I can't even go. Like, now I'm thinking about all the stuff that we did, and now I'm just getting excited again, remembering what all of it was. If you missed any of that awesomeness, or if you just want to go back and rewatch it, I know the Necromancer live play was super fun, as well as both of the Tales of the Valiant actual plays that we had. You can find those VODs over on Twitch, and they are also slowly being uploaded to YouTube. The full videos of each day are already up on Twitch and YouTube, but we're cutting them down to more digestible lengths if you just say wanted to only watch one part of it, only wanted to watch one panel or one of the live plays. The things we do for you. So go check that out. Yeah, because it was a blast. But the Monday after it, we launched the RiverBank BACKERKIT, which you can find obviously on BACKERKIT. I'm just going to place these links right here in all of these chats. And guess what? We have already funded and almost doubled the amount that we needed to do it. We are sitting at an amazing $95,672 with 962 backers and still 26 days left. That is so amazing, guys. It's so cool to see all of the support for RiverBank, because truly Kobold Press is starting to get into doing new stuff, new things, right? Everyone knows us for our 5th edition stuff, for Tales of the Valiant. Maybe you're one of the older fans and you know us from working on like Pathfinder and some Call of Cthulhu stuff, but we're known for these big traditional, a lot of war gamey games, and we're really taking a step out and trying to expand the kinds of stories that we want our players to be able to tell. And Kij has been so wonderful in working with us and helping make the RiverBank game possible. So thank you to all of you who are walking with us hand in hand into a new horizon, into a new dawn, where Kobold Press is doing so much more. It's so it's so cool to see. Because, hey, just being honest with you all, if RiverBank does well, it incentivizes us to want to do more new weird stuff that we haven't done before. That just is what it is, right? It lets us know that these are things that you all want. And so if that's what you want, we're going to try to make it. You can get these teas. The art is so good. So you see, at 96,000, we're so close to the $100,000 stretch goal, which is going to get us a new scenario, like an adventure basically, for the book called Old Greenie's Day. And this is actually the one that Kij and I talked about during that panel. Where Old Greenie's Day is a day. It's a holiday for amphibians. Where the amphibians, they go around, they're singing their carols, they're asking for money, they're having a good time, and then at some point during the celebration, they crown the regent, the leader. I don't remember the nomenclature that they use, the title given. It's not like the king of the amphibians, but it's something like that. The king, the queen, the regent, the crown wearer of the amphibians, and they paint them green, put them on a big chair, and take them all around town. And that might be a little annoying for your character. So if they're the ones who end up getting picked up, surely they crown them Old Greenie. Old Greenie would be it has to be Old Greenie, right? It's got to be Old Greenie. And so that seems like a fun adventure. So if that's what we want, we need to get a little bit under 4,000. Where were we at? 96? No, we were at 95. So a little over 4,000, like $4,338, right? And then there are even more stretch goals after that. So possibly more scenarios, more things that we get out of them, which could be cool. Maybe it's even more like capital A animals that you can be. The monarch, yes. Thank you. Monarch was the term I was looking for. I knew it was something a bit more gender neutral, but I knew it also wasn't princeps. But we got there. Thank you so much, Kai. Go check out the RiverBank Backer Kit. Tell your friends to check out the RiverBank Backer Kit. This is going to be a great chance to help people tell these kind of fun and cozy Edwardian pastoral kind of cozy games. We could all use more of that. If you like Wander Home, or I was going to say Mouse Guard, but Mouse Guard isn't particularly cozy as far as I understand. I haven't played it yet though, so maybe I should. But the things around that nature, you can go check that out. And also go check out the interview that I did with Kij, because it was just fun in general. So you can find that on Twitch and also on YouTube. Next up, we've got the Campaign Builder Bundle. Hold on, let me go to that one. Yeah, there we go. Hey, we've got a Campaign Builder Bundle sale. Try to say that 3 times fast. Campaign Builder Bundle Sale. Campaign Builder Bundle Sale. Campaign Builder Bundle Sale. Save 25% off on Campaign Builder, Castles and Crowns, and Cities and Towns. And the Map Folios for both as well. This is... it's what it is. I don't. I was going to try to. I was gonna try to make it more than it is, but yeah, no. You can save 25% off a bundle of castles and crowns and cities and towns, and also the Map Folios for both of those. If you're not familiar with our campaign builder series, this series is trying to give you, the game master, the tools to be able to build parts of your world a little easier. You need help making interesting cities, towns. Do you want random tables to be able to come up with them? Do you want a character sheet for your city and town so you can track any kind of like important aspects like economy, demographics, like important stuff about the town? And you want that for multiple towns because maybe you're running like an urban campaign, right? And so the city that you're building is like a big, like basically a character in and of itself. They can have their own character sheet. And same with castles and crowns, but in a more political way. This helps you build out the politics of your world a little bit better. This helps you build kingdoms, nations, figure out what forms of government they use, demographics, interesting histories and things that are going on about the town. Or the nation, how to build family lineages, and then also both of these books have plenty of character options, so you can give your players the ability to play more in tune with the themes of your game. If you're playing a more like political game, using castles and crowns, maybe your player wants to have subclasses, spells, and other things that make them good at doing politics. It just kind of makes sense. So you can go get that over on the Kobold Press store right now. So do it. Whew. All right. So next up, before we get into the RiverBank preview PDF, because I know that's what we're here for, we all want to know how RiverBank works. We all want to know what's going on in RiverBank. And you know what? So do I. But before we get there, I'm going to check out the blog, because we all know how much I love the blog. I feel like I shouldn't have to tell you all how much I love the blog, because I feel like I say it every dang week I do this. And you know why? It's because I love the blog. So, we're going to check out the new Valiant backstory for Hendrian Casca, the orc mechanist of the Valiant Six. Oh my god. Celeste has been writing up these new... How much do I love the blog, though? I love it so much. I love the blog so much. I would marry the blog. Like I love it. I love it so much it goes at the edges of my camera. That's how much I love the blog. So but Celeste has been writing backstories for each of the Valiant Six, so that, hey, we can just know a little bit more about these iconic characters that have come to symbolize each of, or many of the classes from Tales of the Valiant. And Hendrian is dope. Everyone loves Hendrian, from what I understand. In org play, he's like one of people's favorites, and that's because the mechanist is really cool. He's just dope. If you want to see a really cool Hendrian, check out the actual play from Kobold Con that we did as the charity live play. Wally, who plays Hendrian, did... all of them did amazing. God, that game was so good, actually. That was so much fun to watch. Yeah, that was so good. All right, let's get into this. Hold on, let me prepare myself. I really should have gotten water and not just like a drink that parches my throat. But hey, we work with what we've got, I guess. Okay. Whew. When Kobold Press launched the Tales of the Valiant RPG, we also launched 6 pre-generated characters for people to be able to start playing right away. These characters showed iconic representations of these classes and provided some art that appears in Tales of the Valiant products, showing these iconic characters in action. But who are these characters? We know their heritage and background, but how did they get from from there to the character you can play. Today, we find out the story behind the orc mechanist, Hendrian Casca. And there's a nice little thing here. You can go download character sheets. Oh, wait, hold on. I forgot to link this. If you wanted to read along with me, feel more than free. Head on over to the Kobold Press blog. We can read together. All right. Hendrian Casca, orc mechanist. Class, mechanist. Subclass, metallurgist. Lineage, orc. Heritage, diaspora. Background, maker. Long ago, in lands across the Silver Sea, our people built an empire that challenged the sun in glory. Within glittering spires that reached the heavens, we crafted masterworks that allowed us to rule without oppression and live harmoniously without spoiling the land. The very gods looked upon us with envy, as did other beings that jealously watched the mortal world. The demon lords who writhe in the black and fetid abyss saw our glory and did the unthinkable. They overcame their base natures and worked as one to rise from their pits to swallow our glittering empire. Thus was the end of the first and last kingdom to know 1,000 years of peace. So go the stories often repeated by the orcs of the Urkanar tribes. Though no evidence of this mythical empire remains, the dwindling populations of such tribes cling to these tales to preserve what little remains of a proud and powerful ancestral heritage. These stories spark the imagination of an orcish boy named Casca. He was born in a remote mountainside hamlet established by descendants of Urkanar. Like the other members of his tribe, Casca was raised to honor ancient tradition and tasked with preserving his people's way of life above all else. However, as Casca grew, his active imagination, curiosity, and thirst for knowledge strained against his community's humble way of life. As the other children grew to excel as hunters, farmers, and herders, Casca's parents watched their youngest son bounce from trade to trade. Skill wasn't the problem. Casca excelled at everything he tried, whether weaving with the elders or forging blades with the blacksmith. However, nothing held his attention. Most concerning were the boy's questions, particularly about the old stories. Where were the ruins of the lost empire of Urkanar? What kind of masterwork machines did they build? If there was a giant demon attack, why didn't anyone else know about it? Why wasn't anyone looking for answers? As Casca grew older, he became aware of how different he was and stopped asking questions. His people had no answers and were too set in their ways to go looking for them. If the mysteries of Urkanar and its remarkable machines could be uncovered, a dying people clinging to a memory of greatness wouldn't be the ones to find out. Shortly after his 15th birthday, Casca packed his meager possessions and slipped away quietly into the night. Without a coin to his name or much knowledge of the world, he began the multi-day journey to the nearest town. Casca's diversity of skills made it easy to find jobs that kept his belly full, while his mind consumed all new information. However, he soon longed for something more. Casca got his opportunity when a traveling band of tinkerers rolled into town. The tinkerers were artisans from across the land who peddled goods and services from colorful colored wagons. Casca was enchanted by their fine goods and expert demonstrations, but drawn to one above the rest: Hendrian Henley's clockwork creations. Hendrian Henley's clockwork creations displayed fantastical toys and mechanisms powered by gears and mechanisms, using technology and magic Casca could only envision. In the following days, Casca spent every free moment talking to the eccentric old gnome who owned the wagon. Seeing the orc's clear interest in his work and needing an assistant, Henley offered to hire Casca as his apprentice. Casca learned much about making the world. Casca learned much about making, the world, and magic in the years he spent traveling with the Tinkerers. He also learned much about Henley's extraordinary life as an engineer, inventor, and teacher after leaving his ancestral home long ago. The odd pair quickly formed a deep bond, becoming their own kind of family. When Henley's aging body grew too weary for the hardships of the road, they settled in the bustling capital where Casca could formally study engineering. As the orc ended his studies, his gnomish friend finally succumbed to old age. A grieving Casca set about setting his old friend's affairs and discovered that the gnome had no living relatives. He had named Casca his sole heir and inheritor of his family's ancestral estate and fortune. To honor his friend's memory, Casca took the gnome's first name as his own, determined to leave his mark on the world as Hendrian Casca. The newly named Hendrian left city life behind to discover what awaited him at the abandoned gnomish estate. Within its dusty vaults, he found magical contraptions, rare tomes, and extraordinary wonders, and his ancestors had collected and protected over the centuries. One of the strangest among them was inside a wooden box, a semi-fluid shard that reshaped itself in accordance to the orc's will. Armed with education and resources, Hendrian is determined to unravel the world's greatest mysteries, including the truth of the lost empire of Urkanar. In the meantime, he has teamed up with the heroic organization called the Valiant Six to hone his skills and find ways to use his mystical creations for the good of all, just as his legendary ancestors once did. Wow. Look at this. Thank you so much, Celeste, for giving. I like Mr. Henry and Costco, yes. Mr. Henry and Costco, orc mechanist of the Valiant Six. Yeah, oh my gosh. I can't wait to read all of them. And I hope there's more like fiction that ends up coming out with just like the Valiant Six interacting. I think that would be cool. I want someone to write stories about them so I can know what adventures they're going on. I want to see them do stuff together. That'd be nice. Yeah. Well, eventually we're going to get every backstory for each of the Valiant Six. So be on the lookout on the Kobold Press blog, and I'll also probably talk about them. So yes, that, but also I'll probably get there, and we can read it together. Whoop whoop. All right. So next up, yes, the thing we're all here for. The campaign builder. Oh, the campaign builder announcement was just talking about the bundle. There is a 20. You can save 25% off over in the Kobold Press store if you get the campaign builder bundle. So you can save 25% off of Castles and Crowns and Cities and Towns, or the Map Folios for both. So that was what that was. And I would say if you have any questions or comments about any of the products, you can go on over to customer service and let them know, because I can't do anything about it. Okay. And so we talked about the RiverBank BACKERKIT. We talked about that it's funding. But did we talk about the fact that there's a free preview? We kind of did, because I told you that that's what we're going to be doing next. We are looking at the free preview PDF of the RiverBank RPG. This 22-page little PDF is going to give you just like a little taste, a little slurp, a little whiff of what we are cooking up for the RiverBank RPG. And it's free, so you can just go on and grab it. Let me get the the link for that. Yeah, so you can go grab that. If you wanted to download it right now, you right on could, and we can read it together. Let's see, what does this say? Elegant animals, chaos and whimsy, tea, poetry, and total disaster. Cozy up with RiverBank RPG, where elegant animals embark on whimsical adventures, celebrating friendship and folly, while surviving dire visits from relatives. In the RiverBank RPG, your character choices drive the story. Weave farcical or dramatic tales of elegant characters celebrating friendships, navigating niceties, and weathering the unique dynamics of animal life. Attend tea parties, stroll through gardens, and win the prize at the village fair, all while trying to dodge difficult relatives and keeping a stiff upper lip. Curious, excited, longing for chaos? Check out the RiverBank RPG preview PDF today. Wow, look at that. Can you send me Amazon? It is currently, so it's not currently for sale right now. We are funding it over on BACKERKIT. Basically this is like as cheap as you're going to be able to get it, as of right now, by helping fund it and making the book happen so it can get to print and eventually Amazon and all of that stuff. Which I'll just pop that link again for you right there. And that way you can also check out more information about it as well. And also you can get maybe more than just the PDF or the book, you can get some of the cool add-ons we have, like these wooden dice. I've never had wood dice, and so I'm interested in seeing how they feel, the hand feel of these wooden dice. I also really thinking about getting the novel. But the question is, would I read it? Not that it would be a bad book, but it's like, can I get my brain to sit down, focus, and read it? It's a great question. Oh, I could get the audiobook maybe. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe that's what I'll do. All right, I hope you've downloaded the PDF. You don't have to. Because I'm about to go over it with you together. Bum-ba-da-dum. The PDF. First of all, the art. Gorgeous. The blues on these greens, on browns, and it feels so cozy. It feels so cozy. Look at them. They're trying to get this little ladybug, who's probably one of their pets. I'm not sure whose pet they are. Maybe the mole's. That feels like it could be right. I think it's either of these two. It's one of the people in the end. It's either the mole or it's this little mouse? Rodent. This little rodent. I don't know what kind of person he is, though. I don't know what kind of capital A animal he is. So look at this. This is, all of the wonderful stuff about who helped make it happen. I think so. Here's also just like a little introduction about the game. You can see the materials. There are cards that are a part of it. There's obviously the wooden dice that you can get. Oh, I love the limited edition like fabric cover. That's the good stuff. That's the good stuff right there. Okay, so welcome to the RiverBank. Man, I really should have gotten some water or some tea. Can I get some right now? Maybe. Yeah, because I'm about to be reading a lot. Hold on, wait. I'm gonna be right back. Hold on, I'm putting something together really quick. Okay, perfect. We are gonna go over this PDF. I need to get water because I'm parched. And if I'm going to be reading, I want to be able to read properly. So we are going to be right back. You also go to the bathroom, get some water, whatever you need to do. And we will be back. All right, we're back. And I've got water. Make sure you stay hydrated, everybody. Okay. So, let's talk RiverBank. Welcome to the RiverBank. You wake up from the strangest dream and find yourself just where you should be, rocking in the striped hammock under the oak tree down by the river. The afternoon is perfect, the sort of sunny day only England in June can offer. Clouds like fat, amiable sheep strolling across the brilliant sky, their shadows moving in procession across the fields, the woodlands, and the lanes. The river throws sparkling sunlight up from its little waves. Two of your neighbors have just passed, rowing upstream, perhaps to tea with friends, perhaps on an adventure. Things have been quite amazingly busy. How can there be so much going on all the time? But after luncheon, you decided your afternoon would be best spent lazing by the river. You hung your hammock and carried out a little round table from your cottage, piling it with everything you might need. Lemonade in a blue and white jug, a plate of biscuits draped with doilies to keep insects away, extra tumblers and napkins should any friends wander by on the river walk. An intriguing book entitled The Corpse with the Missing Toe, in case they don't. And a notebook and a silver pencil for any brilliant ideas you need to record. But instead, you fell asleep under the rustling leaves and had a most peculiar dream, where everything was loud and busy and a little tedious, and you were some sort of human. Well, it's over now, and you're awake in your right time and place. The best of all possible animals in the world, the best of all possible animals, and the best of all possible worlds. Welcome home. That is cozy. Oh, I love it. RiverBank is a cottagecore role-playing game designed for adults and adults-to-be, inspired by The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame. Grahame? I think I said that right. The books of Beatrix Potter and other animal tales across history, as well as the light fiction and children's literature of the Victorian and Edwardian eras and later. In this game, you play a civilized, anthropomorphized animal character in an idealized countryside that resembles post-Edwardian England. There are motor cars, photography, and great houses, and you might wear spats. Overseen by your game master, you and your animal friends have parties, plans, and adventures and get into the sorts of trouble dictated by your personalities. Anything from ambitiously promising to run the stick fair game booths to hosting your troublesome nephew, from outfitting an all-animal expedition to the North Pole, or maybe just the head of the river, to stealing an aeroplane, perhaps accidentally. You may have interactions with the wide world and the human people so common there, visiting the village or even town, traveling to the lakes or Bath, or calling a publisher when your very important book comes out. RiverBank is not heroic fantasy, except insofar as you may find yourself called on to rescue a handkerchief that has fluttered into the bull's pasture, or to distract an appalling relative as your friend slips out the back door. While characters certainly can start a battle or climb a forbidden tower, RiverBank prioritizes entertaining minor trouble and social interactions over conventional combat or dramatic physical feats. Group conflicts are more likely to be... sorry. Hold on, I had to scroll down. Where was I? Okay, there it is. Group conflicts are more likely to be darts matches than paw fights. and tea parties that decay into chaos occur more often than either. The only magic may be sleight of paw tricks, if a character cares to attempt such things, or one of Madame Anthemia's not wholly convincing seances. Structurally, gameplay sessions can range from situational comedy and farce to light quests. The game mechanics are simple, fun, and flexible. Amazing. Hold on, wait. Let's get to some of that. Let's get to some of that, shall we? Okay, so the world of the RiverBank, I think we get it. We get it at this point. I like that there's these at the bottom. There's like references to like key references to here. Like, what is this to? Wait, 2? What's 2? Which one has the subscript of 2? Subscript. Oh, okay. It's over here. So this is okay. So this portion is talking about the world of the RiverBank, but there's like reference notes down here for all of this stuff, which I think is really cool. Like that. Who lives on the RiverBank? Anthropomorphized animals. So there's a lot in here about like, what is the RiverBank? What's the world of the RiverBank? What kind of people live there? Kind of setting you into a lot of like what you can expect content-wise out of this game. But let's get to some of the mechanics. I think this is okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So what's different about this game? If you've played other role-playing games, some of RiverBank's rules and elements, the mechanics of the game, will feel familiar. Others are new, designed to support a major theme of the game, the comic chaos familiar in farce and sitcoms. Here are a few ways RiverBank may feel different. Deeds and side effects. Characters can succeed at most realistic actions. If the players are willing to take chances, can you use with 5D&D? It is, so this is a game in and of itself. This isn't like a setting. This is, RiverBank is an RPG in and of itself. So, I mean, I guess if you wanted to run a game in the world of RiverBank, you could, but that's not really what this book is for. Characters can see at most realistic actions. If the characters are willing to make chances that make things worse in other, sometimes spectacular ways. The mechanics of performing deeds are simple and familiar. The Game Master creates a target number, and the player responds with a challenge number. That includes a die roll. If you, the player, generate a result equal to or larger than the target number, you succeed. If your challenge number is smaller than the target number, you have 3 options. You can accept the failure, which triggers failure side effects. You might succeed by switching the stat used to build your challenge number to the pother stat, which triggers summoning pother side effects. Or you can succeed by buying animality or poetry points, rolling dice and moving along the animality poetry range. This choice may change your stats or behavior, or even drop you into absolute poetry or absolute animality. This decision can be anything but simple. So there's a lot of like, okay, what you're doing matters, your choices matter, but if you like start to, there isn't just like succeed or fail. When you start to fail, you get like, it's not just like, okay, you didn't get to do the thing you did. Something else happens. The story keeps moving forward. And depending on how it fails, whether if it, you know, you go just straight on through and like, oh, okay, I failed. I didn't hit my target number, whatever. Or there's some bargaining here that you can do that may trigger different kinds of side effects, so on and so forth. I like that. Okay. Next up, random use of stats in summoning pother. RiverBank uses only 4 character stats, and they don't operate quite the way they do in other games. The stats, charm, intrepidity. This is going to be a hard word for me to say. Intrepidity. Okay, there we go. Intrepidity, pother, and sense are part of how you build a challenge number. You determine which stat to use randomly with a die roll. This challenge stat may affect the role-playing aspect of how the deed is done. It does affect failure side effects and deeds involving non-player characters. You may replace this challenge stat with your pother stat if it's higher. This is known as summoning pother, which generates its own troubles. And then the animality and poetry range. You may think of animality as referring to your one's baser instincts or animal nature, while poetry, you might say, invokes one's aesthetics, impulses, and creative urges. The characters embody these two forces in different amounts at different times. The animality, or poetry range, is a slider bar you move along when you use your AP points in the game. You start at the center point using at O, or 0, not O, and move up towards poetry or down towards animality. As you move away from the center point, your stats suffer and you start to behave strangely. During a game, characters may move back and forth along the range and even fall off the ends into absolute animality, where you might shuck off your clothing and start building a nest, or absolute poetry, where you might drop everything and start making art. Absolute animality or poetry are not permanent states, but they can prove very inconvenient when your friends are trying to get something important done. So you get this feels a little. This feels kind of like Honey Heist, where if you get too far onto Honey or Heist, you either fully lose yourself in being a bear, or you skirt off and become like a thief. That's good. I like that. Okay, haphazardry. Adventures or situations that the characters encounter will evolve and become more complicated across a game session, based in part on the players and the game master's decisions. But whatever else may be happening, the characters get derailed and at arbitrary intervals. When the haphazardry timer goes off, usually every half hour, drawing a haphazardry card at this point adds another problem to the mix. Anything from a lost pet to everyone getting hungry. There's so many avenues for chaos and things just kind of being thrown at you to have to deal with. The between times. Each RiverBank session starts with the between times, when the players and game master sketch out how the characters spent the days, weeks, or seasons since the last game session. RiverBank is meant to be a cozy place, where for all the fluster and fuss brought on by a situation, animals mostly just enjoy their lives, going on sledding parties and walking their pets, learning French cookery and listening for the first cuckoo of spring. The players share their characters' interim intentions and actions during the between times section of gameplay, and learn a few things they didn't know, determined by the game master in drawing between time cards. So you set up your, okay, here's the things that I want to do during downtime. You draw a card, and that kind of changes, hey, why wasn't I able to actually get this thing done? Or what has changed about it that you then have to deal with in your next session, or the session that's about to happen. So in this book, Chapter 1, Who Are You? Creating Your Character. Chapter 2, What Are You Doing? The Rules of the Game. Chapter 3, Who Is That? Non-player character animals, humans, and ordinary animals. Chapter 4, Where Are You? The location guide to the neighborhood of the RiverBank and the nearby human villages, including houses, shops, and places of note. Excuse me. Chapter 5, What to Do. How to run RiverBank. And advice for tools for game masters, exploring ways one might tailor a RiverBank game to reflect the desired tone, story type, and player preferences. This chapter also provides various situations, which are adventure scenarios, game masters can use as described or adapt as desired. They're detailed to different degrees, some designed with many details useful for new game masters, others presented more briefly. Finally, sections include methods for building situations randomly, casual gaming without a game master, and a description of extended game campaigns called RiverBank Years. And then the rest, and appendices, lists of the secret text appointed of old, sources, readings, and inspirations, content for the between times, and haphazardry decks, and character sheet, and animal poetry range suitable for copying. Finally, the book includes a helpful index, reference sheet, and a map sheet, showing the enchanting RiverBank region. So here it is, the RiverBank. Character creation. Oh man, wait, is there enough in here for me to create a character? Is there enough in here for me to create a character? Is there a character sheet? I don't know if there's a character sheet. Oh, look at these maps. Oh, this is gorgeous. The beehive inn, the old mill farm. Okay, that's locales and situations. Animals and character creation. Okay, is there enough here? Maybe? Just maybe. Okay. We'll see. If there is enough, maybe I make a character. We'll see. We'll see where it takes us. In RiverBank, you and your friends play animals, anthropomorphic versions of ordinary animals that are articulate, bipedal, intelligent, and reasonably well dressed. These sorts of animals live, work, play, and get in trouble in a bucolic countryside that includes humans and ordinary animals. Who and what is an animal? Animals, with a capital A, thrive somewhere in the gap between ordinary animals and humans. They are no more than a foot or two tall and often a different size than their ordinary animal counterparts. Sometimes larger, sometimes smaller. In comparison to humans, think of them as baby or toddler size, or as the size of a teddy bear to a small child. While a few have wings or can breathe underwater, animals are people in the same way that humans are. They wear clothing and reside in charming cottages, cozy burrows, or tree houses, with fireplaces and comfortable armchairs. They may like messing around in boats or writing poetry, or they may obsessively collect stamps or raise dahlias for the St. Aldwyn's Day Fete flower show. Some have jobs of one sort or another, and few are quite comfortable. Others receive an allowance from an appalling relative at the terrible cost of being at their beck and call. In this idealized Englandish countryside, animals have their own neighborhoods in the gaps between human villages and farms. Interactions between the two are uncommon and a bit bemused on both sides. Though situations may take animals to the village or humans or other human parts, RiverBank mostly takes place in the homes and shared spaces along the banks of the river, where humans may be seen on a daily basis, but usually at a distance. Animals and humans keep mostly to themselves, though animals might go into the village to buy pipe cleaners or ribbon if their own shop runs out. They might even go into town if a rabbit needs a dentist to file her teeth, or a toad becomes overwhelmed with a sudden desire to purchase a motor car. Okay, so these are the different sorts of animal, which, from what I understand, are the different animal lineages, I suppose. Okay. So, your first step in creating a character is to select what sort of animal you want to be. Are you a badger or a rabbit, a hedgehog or a bat? The preview here actually represent categories containing multiple animal options. For instance, frogs and toads are both amphibians, with many characteristics identical for the two sorts. For the two sorts of animal. Differences are itemized in the descriptions. Okay. Crow or magpie. These are the corvids. I'm already, I would be a corvid. I want to be a corvid. I want to be a crow. That's what I want. Or a raven. That'd also be nice. So their size is medium. Best time of day is diurnal. Ooh, what is diurnal? Does that mean they're awake at all times of the day? Diurnal. I'm looking it up. Oh, diurnal just means during the day. Okay, so it's not day and night. It's just day. Herd chefs. Sociability. Crows are social and flock, but magpies do not. A corvid's preliminary stats. They have a charm score of 4, intrepidity of 6, pother of 3, and sense of 2. Innate peculiarities. Peculiarities. Head for heights. Corvids take no animality points for spending times in trees, high in buildings, and at the edges of cliffs. Corvids receive a +1 bonus to deeds related to games and play, such as playing charades or cricket. Trickiness. Corvids receive a +1 bonus to deeds involving sleight of claw, a clever paws deed, persuasion, a sway deed, sneaking or escaping, deeds of discretion, or playing tricks, a deed where the category varies, I guess depending on like what kind of thing it is. Also, anytime they attempt a sway deed, they roll 1d6. On a 1 through 3, they receive a -1 penalty to the deed, and a 4 to 6, they receive a +1 bonus. Oh, that's interesting. So it kind of man, the chaos of this game is wild. Corvids have wings. If they take the flying knack and pay a character, Corvids have wings. If they take the flying knack and pay a character building token for flight, they can fly. For details of distance and carrying capacity, see flying under knacks. Oh, okay. So you might have wings but not really fly, but it seems like there's some things like when you're building your character, you'll spend some points in. RiverBank corvids. Corvids are supremely adaptable and thrive as well in cities as rural areas. Generally sociable, they prefer to live near other animals, though their mischievousness can become trying to their friends. They are very interested in knickknacks and decorating their cottages or tree houses. While they prefer the daylight hours, they will stay up all night for a party. Corvids have wings, tails, feathers, and beaks. In coloration, they resemble their ordinary counterparts. Ordinary corvids are opportunistic eaters, scavenging refuse, catching small invertebrates, gleaning grain from the harvested fields, and stealing eggs, even fledglings, from the nests of other birds. Their extreme intelligence makes them excellent problem solvers, and they have a reputation for stealing and hiding small objects. Crows are familiar to many, heavy-beaked, all-black scavengers that adapt to most environments and are highly sociable. Magpies prefer mature pastures and hedgerows. They have distinctive plumage, a black head, dark iridescent plumage, a white belly and shoulders, and an extremely long tail. They are more solitary than other corvids. I didn't know that about magpies. I'm learning about other animals. Look at that. Isn't learning great? Don't we just love learning? Yeah. Common corvid surnames. I don't know why it's so hard for me to talk today. Common corvid surnames: Benedict, Branny, Crack, Currack, Montmorency, Shade, St. Vincent, Waldron. For crows: Brannock, Corby, Crawford, Crow, Kerbo. Oh, Kerbo is great. For magpies: Cassie, Joe Cassie, Pest, Pika, Pie, Scade. Oh, what are these names from? I'm interested. While the riverbank animals do not include ravens, okay. That's just because there aren't any ravens along the riverbank. All corvids are proud of their largest cousin, and raven-related names are common, including Bram, All corvids have wings, but not every crow or magpie chooses to fly, any more than every human chooses to run. Okay. I like that distinction. That makes sense. Frog or toad. Amphibians. And are we back? Okay, there we go. We seem to be back. Sorry about that, everybody. OBS crashed on me, but we are back up and running, I believe. Okay, sick. What was I looking up? Oh yeah, I was looking up crepuscular, which means the best time of day is around twilight for them. Good to know. Sociability. Solitary, except when they collect seasonally at the pond. Pond hangouts. Their charm is 2, intrepidity is 5, their pother is 6, and their sense is 2. Innate peculiarities. There we go. Amphibious. Amphibians can breathe both air and water, which makes underwater actions feasible. A frog or toad can attempt tasks that require extended time underwater as easy, middling, or hard deeds, even though these tasks would be impossible for other sorts without specialized aids. They are aquatic. Amphibians feel comfortable in the water and receive a +1 bonus to deeds taking place in or on the water. See swimming, rowing, or poling. Roly-polies. Sailing, fishing, and so forth. This does not affect maintenance or repairs on watercraft, fishing poles, etc. Climbing. Amphibians receive a +1 bonus for deeds involving climbing or scrambling. These are usually deeds of valor or discretion. Sticky tongue toad only. A toad has a long, sticky tongue that it can use to pick up, catch, or retrieve things. This may add a +1 bonus to certain deeds at the game master's discretion. Winter torpor. Ordinary amphibians hibernate during the winter. Frogs and toads do not. But they remain prone to sluggishness in the cold months, easily outdoors and when not properly dressed. Amphibians receive a -1 penalty to wintertime deeds performed outside of a heated environment. Oh, when it gets too cold out there. It's going to get too cold out there. RiverBank amphibians. Frogs and toads are all quite round, but with long, muscular legs. They prefer to live near water in burrows beside rivers and ponds. Homes carved into the bases of tree trunks and freestanding cottages or larger homes. Frogs have smooth skin in colors ranging from dark green, gray, to chestnut and yellow, with dark stripes and blotches on their legs and backs, and paler patches on their throats and bellies. They have a dark patch behind the eye. Toads have bumpy skin, speckled golden brown, and paler flecked belly. Ordinary amphibians. The only native amphibians of central and southern England are the common frog and common toad. They hunt insects, slugs, snails, and worms. They spawn in the spring, collecting in breeding ponds and leaving their fertilized eggs underwater to become tadpoles. The tadpoles eventually lose their tails and leave the water. Amphibians are cold-blooded, so ordinary toads and frogs hibernate in the winter and rest in the shade during hot days so as to not overheat. Here are some common amphibian surnames. Brown, Green, Dingle, Tosky. In the past, amphibians often invented or claimed fanciful surnames that linger to this day, such as Tinglemarch, Paranal, La Molaire, though they have no teeth, Jingery Pingery, or Sporgle. For frogs, Frog, Frog, Frosh. La Grenouille. Grenouille? La Grenouille? It's been so long since I've taken French. Rand or rain. And for toads, crepod, croup, croot, lilypad, natter, natterjack, toad. I like that some of them are just the name of the animal. Hi, I'm Toad. Hey, it's me. Philipper J. Frog. That's 2 G's and an E. In late March, all amphibians take a simultaneous pilgrimage to the pond. That is, any of a number of ancestral ponds. Toads and frogs do not use the same ponds. For about a week, they carouse with dozens or hundreds of other frogs or toads. Most of these ponds have a crowd of little guest houses, and entertainment floor for dancing, and at least one good restaurant. It's rumored that the visitors all bathe in the nude. Whatever the circumstances, frogs and toads have returned to relaxed and pleased with life. That seems pretty nice. Being an amphibian sounds great. Oh gosh, some of the non-player characters. There's Mrs. Jammy Porlook. She's a goose. She's getting her age is she's getting on a bit. That's a very nice way to say she's old. I mean, very in line with the genre. Yeah, Frog, Toad, Ratty, Mr. Toad, Rabbit. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Her age getting on a bit is so funny to me. Her role, she's an organizer of everything. Her foe level is dire. She lives at the Cote, where she lives with Mrs. Celestine Gray. Particulars: abrupt, stubborn, selfless, always harried. Geese are generally noted for their fierceness, which manifests in Mrs. Porlock as demanding your help with causes. She has wings but would never think of flying, and has put on enough weight in recent years that perhaps she could not. Mrs. Porlock is the relict of Jammy Porlock, who ran a very successful ferry service on the Severn, but she always tries to seem posher than her past. She lives now with Mrs. Gray, a calm and very elegant pigeon who is gentry of the highest order among animals. This seems an odd mix, but they suit very well. At the start of a session, if Mrs. Porlock is selected when the Game Master rolls for random encounters, she appears at some point to demand the immediate assistance of one or more members to help with the project. If the players refuse, she argues with each member of the party individually until someone fails the challenge or agrees to help, then drags them away for a few moments. In fact, until the end of the haphazardry cycle. Projects include things like handing out bills for animal suffragism at the village, carrying a package of flyers to the village train station, collecting the new roof of St. Aldwyn's, or listening to an important speech she hopes to make to the human House of Commons. And there she is, Mrs. Porlock, a suffragette. Votes for women, also animals. There's another one. A Miss Jane Oliver. Look at Miss Jane Oliver, a sailing otter. Who would have guessed? Who's this one? Mr. Albus Grandry, a rabbit. Again, age getting on a bit. Oh wait, what was hers? Her age and sort. She's an adult. It refuses to call them old. It doesn't call her old. She's just like getting on a bit. An adult. There becomes a point where you're getting on a bit. That's so funny. Roll. Owner of one of the most important houses in the area. A fusspot who is always complaining in the most entertaining way. Oh, what's Miss Jane's? Laundry, odd jobs. You can ask Jane to do anything, and she does it beautifully, refreshingly normal sister to that odd communist chap, Comrade Heaver. I have to remember that this is Edwardian England. That odd communist trap is so funny. Uh, oh, oh, the 1900s. Mr. Grandry may or may not be the white rabbit from Alice in Wonderland? What do you mean by that? You can't just say that. This is the guy. This is the guy in Alice in Wonderland? This is what you're telling me? That's wild. Wait, were there other ones for the whoa. Okay, no, there weren't. Maybe. Okay. That's so funny. Butchers, bakers, and other deliveries. Many things are available at the postal service or stores in Yenook. And produce and some grains are grown in gardens and at Musty Farm. Animals who love to bake, fish, or make jams may find themselves with an informal business. But animals enjoy many foods that they don't produce for themselves. Milk, cheeses, meats, and foods too large for them to handle, such as that novel fruit, the watermelon. Most of these come from the Greater Cantrip, about 3 miles away, delivered by that village's human butcher, baker, and greengrocer on regular schedules, 2 to 5 times a week. If you are not there when the delivery cart arrives, your order is placed in a raised stone or wooden object, rather like a manger, with an unlocked lid to protect its contents. Animals are always picking up deliveries for their friends. Aw, that's sweet. We got some locales, some situations, a map. Dang, this game does feel very cozy. Oh, I want to be a Corvette so bad. All right, everybody. So that's all the time I have for you today. If you want to know a little bit more, read some of the stuff that I didn't read, you can go get the free preview PDF over on the RiverBank BACKERKIT. So go do that. And while you're there, hey, maybe, just maybe, you might be possessed to back the game. My brain is tired, as you can tell. I started to fade. But thank you all so much for being here. This has been wonderful. Come on closer. Whew. I hope you all are having a great time. And I hope you all have a great weekend as well. I will see you next week, same time, same channel, where we're going to talk more Kobold Press stuff. We'll find out what's happening next week, once next week happens. But until then, I hope you go out, eat enough food, drink enough water, get enough sleep, and take care of yourself. Because self-care is very important. Especially in the times we're living in right now. And don't forget to go out, be bold, be brave, and be valiant. And I'll see you next time. Bye.